The Battle of the Denmark Strait was a brief but fierce naval engagement in the early days of World War II. This epic confrontation involved the pride of the German Navy, the battleship Bismarck, and two of the British Royal Navy's grandest ships, HMS Hood and HMS Prince of Wales. Our story begins in May 1941, when the Bismarck, accompanied by the heavy cruiser Prince Eugen, set out on Operation Regenboog, an ambitious mission to disrupt British merchant shipping in the Atlantic. Commanded by Admiral Gunther Lütjens, Bismarck was not just a ship, it was a floating fortress, one of the most powerful battleships of its time, designed to outgun and outrun any enemy. As soon as the British Royal Navy learned about the departure of Bismarck, they mobilized to intercept it. Among the ships sent were the battlecruiser HMS Hood and the new battleship HMS Prince of Wales. Hood, known as the Mighty Hood, was the pride of the British fleet, a symbol of naval supremacy. Accompanying her was Prince of Wales, a modern battleship, yet not fully battle-ready, with civilian technicians still on board working on her guns. The stage was set for a dramatic showdown in the icy waters of the Denmark Strait, between Greenland and Iceland. On the morning of May 24, 1941, lookouts on the British ship spotted the Bismarck and Prince Eugen. The British opened fire, but their shells fell short. The Germans responded with deadly accuracy. A shell from Bismarck struck Hood, penetrating her deck armor and igniting her aft ammunition magazines. In a catastrophic explosion, Hood broke in two and sank within minutes. Of her crew of 1,418, only 3 survived. The loss of Hood shook the British nation and Royal Navy. Now, it was up to Prince of Wales, damaged in the engagement and outgunned, to face Bismarck alone. She fought bravely but was forced to disengage, allowing the Bismarck to escape. But the British were determined not to let Bismarck get away. What followed was one of the greatest naval chases in history. The Royal Navy mobilized every available ship to find and sink the Bismarck. Meanwhile, the damaged Bismarck, leaking fuel oil, headed for the safety of the French coast. For 3 days, Bismarck evaded her pursuers. Then, a breakthrough came. A reconnaissance aircraft spotted her, and the British fleet, led by HMS King George V and the aircraft carrier HMS Ark Royal, closed in. Swordfish torpedo bombers from Ark Royal launched an attack. One torpedo struck Bismarck's rudder, jamming it and leaving the ship unable to steer. Now severely crippled, Bismarck was engaged by a British squadron on the morning of May 27. The British battleships pounded Bismarck with heavy shells for nearly 2 hours, inflicting severe damage. Finally, to prevent her from falling into British hands, the crew scuttled the Bismarck. She sank to the bottom of the Atlantic, with the loss of over 2,000 German sailors. As the Royal Navy mourned the loss of HMS Hood, the pursuit of Bismarck became not just a military operation, but a mission of vengeance. The British fleet, stung by the loss of their iconic ship and the lives of so many sailors, was resolute in their determination to prevent Bismarck from reaching the safety of a friendly port. This chase exemplified the Royal Navy's commitment and resilience. Meanwhile, aboard the Bismarck, the mood was grim. Damaged and isolated, the crew knew their chances of survival were dwindling. Despite their dire situation, they remained dedicated to their ship and their country. The final hours of Bismarck were marked by a sense of fatalism, as the crew prepared for their inevitable confrontation with the British fleet. The British ships, with their superior numbers and firepower, surrounded the wounded Bismarck. As the final battle unfolded, it was not just a clash of ships but a clash of wills. The British sailors, fueled by a desire to avenge Hood and demonstrate their naval superiority, fought with relentless intensity. On the other side, the German sailors, aware of their impending doom, fought with a desperate courage, determined to uphold their honor to the very end. The sinking of Bismarck, while a tactical victory for the British, was also a poignant reminder of the human cost of war. The seas of the North Atlantic became a grave for thousands of sailors from both sides, a solemn testament to the bravery and tragedy of naval warfare. This battle, a dramatic and pivotal episode of the Second World War, is remembered not just for its strategic significance but also for the human stories of courage, sacrifice, and the relentless pursuit of duty.